About 20 seconds behind, David, just so you know. Okay, we're done redirecting to Facebook Live page. Okay, hold on. So now I'm back on, and now, oh, I don't see my record button. Where is it? Down here. Record, whatever. It's recording. I guess it's recording. Hi, David.
Hi, Selena. How are you?
I'm good, David. How are you?
Doing well amid this COVID-19 pandemic.
Pandemic. I know. You know, there was a little while there where I didn't want to actually say pandemic, but I
I
guess
know.
it just is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's fun to say.
Sorry?
It's fun to say.
It is. It is. Okay, I'm going to make it fun to say. So thank you for joining, and thank you for agreeing for doing this today. I know that you are a super, super busy person, so I thank you
No problem.
as my colleague and as my friend. We're just making sure that we're actually on live here. So, okay. So I guess we'll just give it a couple of minutes and see
For sure.
if anybody's jumping on. Love the water in the background there, David.
Thanks.
It's nice that you decided to pop in from Barbados. Just kidding, folks.
Is that a background on yours, or what is that?
Yes, it is. It is.
It's really cool.
Do you like that? Thank you. But these are not. These are another part. These are an addition.
Oh, whoa, yeah. That is trippy and cool.
Hi, Sonia. Sonia's here. Sonia's here. And hi, Marie. Thanks for joining. So, yeah, David, I'm thrilled to have you here today. I made a decision a few weeks ago to do these live Facebooks. I mean, we could do videos, but I wanted it to be interactive with people in the community because this is what this is for.
Of course.
You know, life has changed so much over the last few months. People are, for want of a better word, scared of what's happening and scared of what the future is. And I thought, you know, just coming from a perspective of adding knowledge and support, I thought I would do this, and I would ask wonderful people like yourself, wonderful professionals like yourself, to just pipe in and provide your perspective. So today, the perspective is the legal perspective. This is episode 3. And just a couple of housekeeping notes. We want to obviously respect everybody's time. So we have capped this at about 30 minutes. If anybody has any questions that we haven't gotten to, we promise you that we will directly answer you afterward. We do have a few questions that we have put together for you, actually with David's help. But what I'd like to do before I get into all of that, first of all, I'd like to say that we have matching hairstyles.
That's odd and awesome.
Yes. Odd and awesome all together. So I would like to introduce my esteemed friend here. So David obtained his law degree at the University of Western Ontario in 2003. And after spending many years on Bay Street, in the Bay Street life, David took the risk to create and nurture his own law firm alongside his fabulous wife, Sonia Kalia, who is now partner and mother of 3 enterprising young ladies. Together, being deeply rooted in the idea of elevating the way that clients should be treated with a springboard of client first and best interests for their client mentality, the firm of Feld Kalia focuses solely on residential real estate law in Ontario, with servicing local and international clients. Having a high volume of business exposes them to a plethora of tricky situations, which of course in turn allows them to gain experience at an exponential rate. Their culture fosters a team of 20 dedicated professionals who love to do as much as they do equally as David and Sonia. So David speaks at seminars at the Law Society of Upper Canada, banks and real estate agents, and most recently, of course, Zoom meetings to thousands of realtors from his home. With intentional purpose that the more information he gets out there, the better. So it is my honor, my distinct pleasure to introduce you to top shutter, kind-hearted, dynamic legal mind, David Feld, and my friend. Thank you, David, again for joining. So let's jump right into it, David, and let's kind of sort of start this off by asking you, how has COVID changed in terms of your firm, handling with your clients, and your staff and things like that? Maybe you can speak a little bit about that.
Sure. You know, the minute they told us we all have to work from home, I was like super scared slash more excited because in reality, law needed to move forward at a better pace. And it wasn't. There's a lot of dinosaurs in law. So first thing we did right away is I think we closed up shop first. We told everyone, take your computer, go home. We were completely, we had created a network that could kind of handle this. So everyone went home. Everyone's still home.
Right.
And they hooked up their computers and we were working by the next morning fully from home, phones, everything back in service. So that was number one. And the staff thanked me for that. And, you know, it's nice once in a while to get a thank you from your own staff. And they said, you know what, thank you for reacting quickly and thank you for caring about us. And we do. And we actually became a force. We were fighting law firms. We were fighting big Bay Street law firms, trying to say, hey, you need to do this for your staff too. You need to change your ways. And we still are fighting that fight, but we helped create this momentum in law to move things forward. So we're really happy about that. Right. And that actually created some good things for my staff because it turns out that now they don't have to commute to work for 2 hours each way, some of them, believe it or not, or at least or an hour each way. Right. They can start earlier, they can end later, and they don't have to work this 9 to 5 job because it really, people like realtors like yourself, they can call at 7 o'clock. They can have a weekend status review. So now we kind of change how we work and people are available more, yet they have a better balance with their life at home. I know we're all working on this balance with because we're all with our, maybe our significant others at home a lot more and things like that. But there's this balance that I see my staff is achieving because I'm seeing them more happy. And when I say seeing them, the cool part is I'm seeing them on Zoom calls because until now we always had this, but we never did it. So we literally had one meeting every few months. It wasn't enough. We weren't able to give the information we needed to everybody and to pass on actually the passion that we have for this. Now we're on Zoom calls, sometimes daily, at least once a week, even more. And we are imparting wisdom. We're talking about files. We're talking about issues. We're learning as a team. And so this brain is getting stronger and better. And so for those reasons, from the law firm perspective, it's been incredible.
Great.
That's just for the staff. Now you were asking also about the clients. Well, this is awesome too. This is like the best part for clients because now clients don't have to drive to the bank and then drive to our office, find a parking spot, you know. And it's funny because I just remembered a story with you, Selena, once when you were parking once.
Yeah. Oh, I did tell you that story, David. I didn't know I told you that story. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
So, but anyway, pivot. But the funny thing is, so that's all gone. Like you don't, you know, and you now meet your clients. We meet the clients through Zoom. Right. And so we can see each other, we can talk. And another great thing is we've signed up police officers in a police car. We've signed up a pilot in their airplane. It's just a different world now. Yeah, and we've signed up probably a lot of naked people. Like you never know. So like honestly,
or pajama wearing people.
Yeah, or pajama wearing people, right? So, but who cares, right? Yeah. Because we're comfortable, and that's sort of we changed our whole thing. We're saying we now say stay at home while we bring the home to you. Like I don't know our exact slogan actually,
or we can say or with you. So let me just tell you guys. So David's office is on Berkeley Street, and his office building is black with white lettering that says "We are law." But now you can say, we bring the law to you.
We bring the law to you, right? So we really do, and we love it. So we kind of revamped how we do everything from beginning to end, knowing that people are not having to come in. And that goes right through, like lock boxes at the end, so you don't have to pick up keys. Right. Even for agents, we're sending commission by ETF, electronic funds transfer.
So we get paid quicker.
So you get paid quicker, which is awesome.
Right.
And, you know, so everything's been great. So, I mean, you have to make lemonade out of lemons. That we did receive, all of us received kind of like a whoop in the butt or a smack across the face. I don't know how to describe it. And we all have to recover from it and try to even be better from it. So that's what I think we've done. And it's incredible.
For sure. And I think one of the things that I recall about you, you've always like more or less driven an electric vehicle car and you're very, very green savvy. So now your carbon footprint is even smaller now, kind of thing.
Yeah, and we're obsessed with that. I don't even talk about that, but we're obsessed with, we don't want to use paper. We don't even use a Xerox machine anymore. We don't use fax machines. We've been doing this forever, but now you don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. Like we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint down to nothing if possible, to as little as possible. Yeah.
Which is amazing. So I'm always about, are you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? So I think I can definitely fall on the fact that you are definitely part of the solution. And you
Thanks.
know, I can't let this conversation go on too much longer without acknowledging those fantastic glasses that you're wearing. Oh,
Thanks a
let me
lot.
do that right now. They're awesome. Please send me a pair. Thank you very much.
For
Okay.
sure. Thank you
Okay,
very
so
much.
we've gone through that. So let's talk about COVID clauses. So one of the things that happened for us in the real estate game very early on, we started talking about what happened. So this is very early on when everybody was petrified and we just didn't know what was going to happen. And we needed to lean on the legal community to find out what are we going to do? What clauses do we need to insert in our offers? And you were one of the first ones, of course, as usual, out the gate, providing those clauses. So maybe we can speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, I won't say what the clauses are, but I'll give the gist of it. First, I'll start off by saying, you know, when there's a leak, you have to put some kind of Band-Aid solution on it for a second while you find the solution. And this, you could say, was a leak. Like, what's going to happen? We have all these closings coming up. Are the banks going to be open? Everything's closing down. Is the land registry office going to be open? How are we going to register deeds? Are people going to be able to get insurance? There's so much stuff that happens. And so lawyers quickly came up with some COVID-19 clauses, and they're not the greatest, but they were something. It turns out now, looking back, and it's funny, you know how they say hindsight is 2020. Well, this year, 2020.
Oh, 2020 is 2020.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, in hindsight, luckily, our systems lasted. And what I mean by that is our banks did stay open. There was some weird stuff going on, but they stayed open.
Yes.
Our land registry office stayed open the whole time.
Yes.
The title insurance companies came forward and said, you know what, we will cover the gap between, if the land registry office has to close, we'll insure the gap between the time that you should have registered and you will register if they're closed. So people came together, the legal community came together, and lawyers were being reasonable with one another for the most part, and giving some leeway back and forth.
Yeah.
But so the COVID-19 clauses that talk about doing things electronically and stuff like that, they're great. We're pushing it to the next level. We got to stop with all the nonsense, get us the money, you know, electronically. We don't need to be driving around, dropping off checks and all this stuff. That's dinosaur.
And you know what, David, just on that note, do you think those clauses without the COVID-19 wording might be here to stay in terms of you see what I'm saying? No longer having to meet in person, no longer, because it would make sense, right? It streamlines, like that's the way the world is going, right? So
let's do this. Let's do this. We need to use our brains. We need to move forward. If something sort of smacked us in the butt a little forward, let's keep moving forward. Though you don't go back after, right? Maybe not in this country. Okay, so
definitely trailblazing on that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, so some of the other parts of the clauses are not great because they actually get rid of the most important thing that we care about in an agreement of purchase and sale, which is in real estate especially, it's time is of the essence. If we're saying that things can be delayed due to this or that, then we're not saying time is of the essence, and that can create problems. So I personally, luckily, haven't seen any problems from these clauses yet, but it's, you know, they're going to pop up, and people are going to get out of deals with for some small reasons that they shouldn't. And we'll see that. But luckily, so far, it's been great. And luckily, the banks are open and everything's moving. So the clauses won't even kick in if everyone's doing the right thing.
Unless something were to happen. Well, I actually had gotten an offer on one of my clients' properties with a COVID clause. And at the end of the COVID clause, it said, and if we can't fulfill this for such and such, then the deal is dead kind of thing. And I was like, dude, no, not going to happen.
Not accepting it.
Kind of not at all acceptable. I would not have been working in the interest of my client. So I just said, crossing that out. And if that's not good for you, you know, I'll have to wait until something better comes along for my client. And fortunately, he understood, and so did his client, and the deal has already closed. So that
and you got to cross those out. You got to cross those out.
You do. It's
you're really good. You know, you're staying on top of your game anyway, so you know this, which is amazing.
I do my best. So can we talk a little bit about COVID clauses and new construction, or not even COVID clauses, pardon me, just new construction right now?
Sure.
The changes that have been happening there.
So as you know, we do a lot of new construction too, and that pretty much halted completely. And they were coming in by the truckload, and then the trucks all stopped. And now, as of, I'd say yesterday, today, it's starting back up. So we're starting to get new construction coming back in. In that time, some not weird, but some interesting things that have been happening is we've seen a lot of influx of assignments. And just for anyone who's listening, an assignment is when you buy from a builder and then instead of closing, you sell it to someone else before it closes, usually for a profit. So, you buy something for 500,000, you sell it for 600, hasn't even closed, you make your 100,000 profit. So we're seeing a lot of those. And I'll tell you some of the reasons. The one is people are losing their jobs, so they cannot close. Not a lot, but that's what we're getting. Two, people, they didn't do so well in the stock market during this time, and that they were going to rely on that money to close. Three, their life events changed. I've seen divorces. That's actually on the uprise during this time as well. And they're calling and saying, look, I'm sorry. Is there any way out for me? I can't close. And so we quickly look at their agreement. Every agreement's different. And we determine if they can assign and what cost there'd be to assign. And then they assign and they can get out of the situation instead of losing their deposits, which we've seen. They're getting out, making a profit and walking away sort of unscathed. So it's nice to know that you can do an assignment, and we're getting a lot of those.
Okay, can I just ask you a quick question on that note? So with assignments, I know that generally what happens is that the builder has that clause in from the beginning. And generally speaking, once that clause is not in from the beginning, they may not do that. So are you saying that builders are being more flexible, or that the assignment clauses already existed in the offer?
Yeah, in 95% of new build agreements, it's built in. Some assignment clause is built in.
Right.
And then once in a while, you'll see no assignment or not allowed. But that's rare. If they come through our office, that's not happening anyway. We don't let that pass, right?
You don't allow that, right, for sure.
During the 10-day cooling off period, we negotiated that out. But yeah, like for the most part, it's in there already. Right. It's just that the cost ranges anywhere from $0 all the way up to $5,000-$6,000. So, but that's okay. It's again, if you're making money instead of losing money,
getting out.
It's fine.
And you're getting out, right? And as you said, life circumstances are happening, and you just got to do what you got to do. And now, what about resale? What about resale, David?
Yeah. Well, one other thing on new construction, I'll just say is people are asking for delays on their deposits. They're asking builders, can I give my deposits a little later? Some builders are saying yes, some builders are saying no. I will say builders are not super lenient during this time as I would have liked.
I had heard that, and I have not had any experience, but I'm happy to hear it coming from you. So they are, so you're finding that they're not, because I guess they're in a crunch too. Like that's the thing, right? It's a snowball effect, right?
You got it. And one other thing is on new construction, we are seeing a lot of unavoidable delay notices. And those are notices that say, due to a pandemic, we are delaying until further notice. And as soon as the pandemic is declared over, we'll send you a new notice with new dates. So we're starting to see dates move. Significantly. And people are okay with, people have to be okay with that, but that is happening. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
So, and then on the resale world, I'll tell you some good things. Banking. Banks have stepped up for the most part to the challenge, which is saying a lot because they too are big systemic dinosaurs, right? But they are allowing the signing up not in person, so they're allowing non-wet signatures. Wow. That's very important for lawyers, for us, for the clients. They're starting to allow clients to not meet at all. They can do a lot of meetings, I think by Zoom or it's a different WebEx that they use, something they use. But they can meet with the banks and get a mortgage without going anywhere, which is super important.
Which is great.
And then they're wiring money a little faster now too. So we're actually closing deals, if you can believe it. Deals would typically close between 3:30 and 5 p.m. always in the past. And now we're seeing some deals close at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Like
I mentioned that.
Yeah, it can close sooner.
So I think you guys were doing a deal with one of my clients the other day, and you've actually done a couple of deals in the last couple of months, and I've noticed that they have closed earlier. And I'm like, I bet you that's because everything's being done by wire and electronically, and people don't have to drive here and drive there. So again, these are really, really positive things that are happening. It means you as a buyer, you get your keys way earlier in the day. And if you have to move on that day, you get a few more hours grace time. So it's sometimes like 5 hours, right? It's usually around, like, I know in the past, it's been around 3 o'clock. So if their deals are now closing around 10, that's like 5 hours that you have still, right? So
I don't want to say they're closing at 10 always.
I know, but I'm just,
it's very good. Like we're really seeing the system starting to be a little more oiled and moving in a better way than it ever has. And it took a pandemic. I love that. Now I've said it 5 times. It took this to push people forward. We were all working so hard, but maybe like gerbils And I feel like we're all just running around in circles, but now everyone has to take a second to think and reevaluate and actually make some changes. So hopefully this, like I said, I will not step back into the past.
We cannot go backwards.
We must all move forward. We must all move forward.
Forward march. Okay.
Exactly.
So we talked about resale. So I can't believe that you and I have blabbed on for 22 minutes, but we have. And let me see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions really.
Okay.
So that means that we're doing a good job. We're addressing stuff. That's great. So one final question, I guess, and it's a broad-based question. So I apologize for the question, but just a little direction from you, David. A consumer, whether buying or selling, how would you advise them at this juncture about moving forward as we move into this, as we are and have been moving into this uncharted terrain?
Yeah. I feel like, you know, when a meteor hits the earth and all the dust comes up and then it takes a long time to settle, I think it's settling now. And I think that we're starting to see our shadows again and the sun's coming out again and people are coming out of the woodworks again slowly, as we should. And I think the real estate market, I know the real estate market is picking up because of the deals coming in again. And so it is time. And there might even be a deal to be had if you look carefully, possibly, because there are some desperation sales as well. But I find that everyone, it's all happening now. And so I guess my only thing is, you know, whoever you're going to hire, look and ask them, inquire with them, you know, what changes have you made, or what do you see with regard to all of this COVID-19 stuff, and what changes have you or made in your practice or as a realtor, to make sure that the person you take on is going to fight for you and give you the best kind of information that's up to date, because this information does change daily. It's not like before. You really need to be on top of your game now. Yeah. It's do or die time. Yeah.
I would agree with you. You know, not to throw my comrades under the bus, but what I am actually finding, which is super odd to me. So I'm finding in one way that people are a lot kinder, as you mentioned. You know, the lawyers are getting along better and everybody's getting, because we're the end of the day, we're in it together. Like nobody has one thing and then I have something else. No. We've all got the same thing going on. But what I'm also finding from some of my comrades, which is, you know, a call out there to anybody who's actually doing this, is that like we as realtors actually have to put more of an effort in right now. So if I list your house for sale right now, I have to do more to protect you. I have to do more to market your place. I have to do more to, you know, make it easy. I mean, some sellers don't want people in their home. Some tenants don't want people in their place. So I need to do more in terms of video and virtual. And I'm actually finding that a lot of agents are doing less. And I don't know if that's because they're scared or as you said, they're not up to date and they're not, but like we had to get it really quickly, like, you know, get with the, you know, protecting yourself and your clients and again, the sale, the buy, the whatever the case may be, getting the clauses, getting, you know, the you know, I have a box of gloves in my car. I asked my clients to have their own vehicle, and we did that early on, but then a lot of virtual tours. But then I'm finding their agents that are not even putting room sizes on, never mind interior pictures, never mind walkthrough tours. So, you know, there's one side and there's the other side. And as you said, David, rightfully, just know who you are getting into business with, because, you know, we're all here. We're all trying to pivot forward. I didn't tell you my acronym for pivot, did it? I'm going to tell you. Pivot. My acronym is Persevere in Very Opposing Times.
Nice.
We all have to do that right now. So, so I just, thank you. I don't see any questions. Do I see any questions? I don't think so. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Lots of people on that have come on. David, I don't know if you want to add anything else. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it. That was great. I appreciate you bringing me on, and it's great to chat with everybody. Can't even see how many people are here.
Yeah, I know. So what I have to do is I literally have 3 screens in front of me right now. I have you on Zoom. I have my Facebook Live over here, and I have my questionnaires and stuff like that over there. So it's a whole setup thing. But so thank you. So again, I wanted to mention, this is David Feld Kalia. Awesome, incredible legal mind and wonderful all-around person with a beautiful, exceptional, dynamic wife and 3 dynamic young ladies. I refer a lot of business to David. He has always been stellar, and like if he's ahead of he's always been ahead of the curve. So now, like, I think you jumped over the curve now. That's what you did.
I flattened the curve.
Yeah, flatten the curve. Boom! That's it right there. So, so thanks again, David. 6:27. We are wrapping up, and we don't have any questions, but please feel free. I'm actually going to put our email addresses in the once this recording is finished. Just if anybody has any questions and want to contact you directly, they can. Yep. And I just really want to thank you for your time again today, David.
Thanks, Selena.
Thank
have
you.
A good one.
Stellar. Thank and you do the same. Cheers. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining. Cheers. Bye. Can you? I don't know how to stop the live. Oh.